I do believe. All right, so we are in the game. Take us away.
Alright, at the top left side, we have spawning as the orange Terran. It's from Team Druidz Esports. It's Duggi.
And his opponent is going to be from Sintox. I know his clan tag says arms, but trust me, he's from Sintox because that's what the website says and internet never lies. Wink, wink. It's going to be the blue Druidz.Terran.
And he
God
has
damn
arms.
it, that just sounds wrong.
Yeah, I know that sounds so awkward when you have to say it, but I'm
Blue
sure he took that name
Druidz.Terran.
for a reason.
Like, we have the blue Druidz.Terran. Awesome. Guys, this goes out to all the players. Sometimes you make our job as casters really, really hard. You know that, right? So thank you very much for being so awesome and funny.
Yeah, there's always, if you cast a tournament, there's always the one name you can't read, even if you try so hard, you know?
Oh yeah, sometimes sometimes that happens.
We do see once again from the Protoss, a gateway expansion seems to be really popular, like you mentioned in the first game of our cast, I think. And yeah, you kind of have to do it against Terran these days. I don't know if you noticed it, but if you go Nexus first and they go Reapers, you're kind of dead.
Pretty much dead.
Yeah, so you don't see Nexus first that often anymore in the PvT matchup.
You can do that on really big maps where you kind of suspect that the Terran will be going command center first as well, such as Whirlwind, but that's about the only ladder map I can think of where the strategy would be at least 50% of the time safe. And even then, if you scout the Terran on the first go and you see that, oh wait, he's not going command center first, you kind of are committed to Forge just because of the threat of the early Reapers, especially if you see the gas. And that of course delays all your units, it delays your tech, like it's really not a very good situation to be in. So let's see, we do have gas being taken by Duggi. Let's see what add-on he will be going for, because yep, reactor. Wow, so this can be a very cool mine opening or a Hellion opening into a Hellion drop.
He's gonna scout that Terran did go for the cybernetics core with 2 assimilators. Now this could indicate airplay, but because he has only 2 probes in each assimilator, it's unlikely. But he will know he has to get some units out to defend, though. If there gets a Stalker poking at the front base, you saw what happened between Moby 1 and
yep.
Yeah, you can lose those depots.
Of course. This is why some of the Terrans, unless they plan on getting a lot of Marines early, which what Duggi is doing right now,
yeah,
they tend to build their barracks back and not even hide their gases because they don't have any option on how to do that. So pretty much if you want to do this wall off at the ramp, because of how the mothership core operates in the early Protoss mid game, you gotta get that reactor if you're doing this, or like at least second racks really fast. Bunker at the front is also a good idea.
Bunker at the front is so useful because the bunker, of course, as many know, gives the +1 range. The Marines will have the same range as the Stalker, which means they can just defend. And that's so easy. You just make one bunker, you can salvage it later. It's only 25 minerals if you think about it, plus the building time of the SCV. But it keeps you relatively safe. And I think you're going to be spot on with the analysis you made on Duggi. He's going to make some mines right now.
Yeah, he's making those mines. He's dropping down the starport, so most probably a Widow mine drop into the mineral line, maybe even into both of the mineral lines. Wouldn't be surprised if he started saving up energy for a scan right now, which, you know, you kind of want to scan at around 7 minutes to see what the Protoss is going for, what's his army composition, what's the saturation maybe, depending on where the scan is placed. Now this drop should come inside the Protoss base at around 7 minutes 10 seconds maybe.
Yeah, you can see actually by the position that the mothership core has that he's trying to defend against drops with it. He's most likely going to use the photon overcharge on the Nexus if there's a drop.
Yeah, he can definitely do that. He already has the robo outs. Observers are in production, so he will be able to defend versus this. Now the problem with this type of play for the Protoss player is that you really, if you suspect your opponent is going Widow mines, which the Protoss player does not know, because if we look at his vision, he has 0 scouting. He just knows that there was a Marine here and that most probably an expansion is going down. That's all he knows. So whenever, as a Protoss player, you kind of are expecting that Widow Mine drop, you have to have your eyes glued to your mineral lines, because you have to target down the mines as fast as possible, especially if you only have one observer out on the field.
He has 2 observers out in the field right now. Though one observer is going straight for the medevac. I don't know if it's gonna see it. It's gonna be very close for him.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
he catches
Sees
it. So he has to follow it immediately because there are, of course, 2 mines in that. And if he doesn't spot them in the mineral line, that's gonna be really annoying for him.
Well, his army is not moving. The Mothership Core is in position to drop that
Ooh.
Nexus Cannon onto the main.
Did he miss it? I think he missed it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's gonna be so huge. The mines are gonna drop into the back of the mineral line, gonna burrow there, and gonna be so annoying right now.
Yeah,
the
they are.
overcharge hitting though, and the Photon Overcharge can also hit air units. He should be focusing the medevac, I feel like.
Alright. Nice job there, loading up the mines, and the 2 Marines going to try to reposition. Let's see where those observers are at. One is here and one is in the main. There's nothing in the natural, but the medevac has been chased away by the Stalkers. So nice defense by Terran, I have to say. Behind this, what has Druidz been up to? Well, he's getting tanks. That is a really interesting choice, and he also has a tech lab on the factory.
Yeah, he's getting out some siege tanks right now and Vikings, but you can see that Terran, our Protoss player of the day, is going for some Colossi, which isn't like the best counter to siege tank plus Viking, because siege tanks are actually quite good against Colossi.
Siege tanks are pretty good, especially when they get higher in numbers, just because of the range. I mean, you have to close the distance, and the range is like the same as what the Colossi have, so they're not gonna fire. I mean, greater even. So they're not gonna fire at the Colossus. I mean, Colossus is not gonna fire at the tanks, obviously.
One thing you see in a lot of PvTs is that the Colossus forge the engagement. The Colossus are the first ones to shoot, and the Terran army has to move towards the Colossus. Once you add siege tanks to that, the Terran becomes in the advantageous position where he can force the Protoss towards him. So you want to have some Immortals to bust them.
Or away, because whenever you cross that threshold and you get into the siege tank line, you basically take damage for no return fire, because you cannot fire back. Especially if there are some mines in the way, that's also problematic. Nice hiding this probe here to build a proxy pylon maybe later on. The third base should be beginning construction here for both of our players very shortly here. We see the Protoss player already preparing for that, adding on additional gateways as well as Templar Archives, transitioning very, very quickly into +2 charge lot Storm.
He actually never transitioned because the Colossi he didn't commit to. He never got the range upgrade. So he got 1 out, so that when he scans, he's like, oh, he's got Colossi. But they don't even have range. He's not committing to Colossi at all. And I think that's a great decision at this point.
That's a very good choice. We saw a lot of Protosses. What was the last tournament in Wings of Liberty that we saw many of the guys do this? When they just got 1 Colossus, showed it to the Terran, and then just behind this, they just were getting pure gateway storm army.
But I think that the Protoss have been a little bit overzealous though, because look at that, he's pulling SCVs, he's moving out, and I think this is a lot right now for Terran to handle, because that army doesn't look so scary right now.
Well, he does have the observer in position, so he knows the army's coming in. He has the gateways finished up, so he can warp in a lot of stuff. That third base will have to be cancelled though, because it can go down very, very, very quickly.
He's running into it. I don't think this is what he wants to do.
No, I don't think so as well. We don't have Storm finished, and there's the GG just like that.
Quick GG, yeah.